The 5 questions that I start looking at is all about reinforcing the right conversation that the salesperson needs to have with the clients.
I'm here again with Dean Kelly, the deal mechanic. Welcome back, Dean.
Thank you very much for having me, John.
Hey, Dean, we've talked a lot about things sales managers should be doing to coach their people and make sure that people are focused on the customer and not on our internal needs. And you've mentioned the 5 key questions that sales managers should be asking their salespeople.
Yes.
Could you just quickly go through those 5 and then let's share that on the strategic selling group?
Certainly. So the 5 questions that I start looking at is all about reinforcing the right conversation that the salesperson needs to have with the client. So it starts with, what is the business problem we're trying to solve? And obviously, as a manager, you can coach to uncover more or less and really gauge how good the conversation must have been that the salesperson had with the client, given the amount of information they can recall.
Sure.
The second one is, who is that important to? What is their priority and how will they measure success? So that's getting the salesperson to start thinking outside the box, that they may have been meeting with one member of the client organisation, but start thinking broader. Who else might benefit from that? Because that's other value that you might be able to create in the mind of the client. That's the second question. The third question is, every organisation has an alternative to buy from if it's not you. They could do it themselves, they could actually do nothing, or they could go with a competitor.
So who are those?
Who are those? And working out as a salesperson, or you testing the salesperson, what is their strategy to beat those, to nullify the advantages the alternatives provide, and in order to get your value onto the table, which allows you to get more security that the deal will happen. So that's a critical one at number 3.
Question 4.
Number 4, what is the value expression, or in your language, the compelling event, if you will? What is the value expression to compel the client to do a deal quickly? So a lot of us give out this generic value message, and it's around actually writing down what is the value message we want to give the client. It's got to be relative to the alternatives, so showing our incremental real-time value. It's got to be expressed relative to the client's business objectives, so I'm coming back to question 1. And thirdly, it's got to be expressed in the client's measurement. So how are they going to measure success, not how we'd normally measure success ourselves. So very customer-focused messaging.
And really, is it compelling?
Absolutely.
And I like the concept of having an event that you're also going to be on, whether it's a board meeting or whatever it is, an event with a compelling driver and an event that's going to get it across the line.
Absolutely. So it could be Christmas, it could be a rush time, it could be a holiday. There's all sorts of things that you can tie into that to make it.
Financial year.
Absolutely. And then the last one, which I have been caught out myself on a number of occasions, not asking question number 5, is what are the buying steps the client must go through, and how are you managing them to turn this opportunity into revenue for our organisation?
So important, because so often we focus on our own sales process and forget about understanding what the buyer's journey is, what steps they're going to go through.
Big time. Have they got budget? And it's not asking them the question, what's your budget? Because we all know that's an unreliable answer. But it's, what are the steps they need to go through to either raise the budget or perhaps even get more budget if they haven't got enough? And what are the steps and how are you managing them? So who are you meeting with? Is there a cost justification? Is there a hurdle rate for ROI? It's getting inside the head of your salesperson. How well have they really gone down that path and understand?
Making sure they're in the head of the customer. Because
absolutely.
Yeah, and you're asking the sort of questions that they should be working with the customer and getting answers at.
Now, these questions are ideal right at the beginning. These are qualifying questions. And quite honestly, if I'm meeting with you in the first 2 or 3 meetings, I'm within my rights to challenge the client and say, so if there's real interest here, what are the steps you'd have to go through in order to take this forward? And so it's actually a good question that says to the client, I'm serious about this, and we're in business to do good business for our clients, but I'm not going to be here begging for the deal.
And I'm here to help you go through those steps. I'm here to work with you as you go through
Absolutely.
those steps. Yeah. Dean, I love those 5 questions, and I know they do lead to lots of other questions, but if a sales manager, sales leader's got those 5 in their mind, and that's where the focus is on their salespeople, they'll have their salespeople focused in the right context with the customer.
Most important.
Love it. Thank you very much, Dean. Look forward to next time we talk.
Thanks, John.